The electric system. The power supply on board is usually 230 volts AC or 12 volts DC from the onboard batteries. Whenever you are in a marina or bay with 230 volts AC shore supply, make sure to connect to ensure battery recharging. Plug your 230 volt cable into the electric box or electric sockets on the jetty. There's an adapter on board for different types of electric socket. Make sure the control lamp on the electrical panel is illuminated, indicating connection to the shore supply. If the red light is not on, the jetty electric box fuse must be checked, or the 230 volts main fuse on board may have tripped and the electric supply disconnected. In some marinas, the marina staff must open the fuse at the electric box first in order to supply you with 230 volts. As soon as the connection is made, the battery charger will switch on automatically, or in some cases needs to be switched on at the electric panel. Now the batteries will charge and you can use the 230 volt sockets on board. When leaving the marina or bay, disconnect the cable and stow away in the cockpit locker. Don't forget the adapter. Once you are disconnected from the 230 volt system, you rely entirely on the 12 volt system on board. Therefore, please ensure economic use of all 12 volt systems. On board, there are several batteries. One is the starter battery, which is exclusively for starting the engine. The others are the service batteries, which supply the navigation instruments, navigation lights, deck and cabin lights, fridge, stereo and other. The 12 volt main switch allows you to shut off the 12 volt system altogether. This 12 volt main switch can stay on all the time unless there is an emergency, for example melting cables or fire. All electrical loads can be switched on and off at the electric panel individually. The service batteries are used extensively, therefore they need to be checked several times a day at the voltmeter on the electric panel by selecting the domestic battery setting. The engine battery voltage can also be checked on the same voltmeter by selecting engine battery on the electric panel. As soon as the voltage drops below 12 volts, make sure to switch all loads off and charge the batteries either by shore supply or by engine. If shore supply isn't available for battery charging, normal engine charging must be used with a minimum of 1200 RPM. As soon as the engine is running, the batteries will be charged by the alternator normally. If the batteries are charged only with the engine, it must run at least 2 hours per day. Electrical panel. At the electrical panel, you can switch on and off all 12 volt loads, such as cabin lights, freshwater pump, bilge pump, navigation lights, navigation instruments, fridges and other appliances. Make yourself familiar with all the functions. Only ever switch on loads which you are going to use. Next to the load switches, you also find the 12 volt plug, which can be used with a 12 volt adapter to charge mobile phones, handheld GPSs, laptops, etc. Also next to it are the switches for the 230 volt AC system. Here the hot water boiler can be switched on when connected to shore power only. Hot water is also available when the engine is running and heats up automatically. Either with shore power or with the engine, it will take about half an hour for the water to be fully heated. The battery charger has an on and off switch, but is best left on at all times. And the last function is a switch to activate the 230 volt sockets. Don't forget, when connected to shore power, always check the 230 volt AC control light and the AC voltmeter at the panel before you operate anything.